Hello everyone, just going to do a quick video about 5 minutes long. It's something that's quite important that I wanted to talk about quite a lot recently. It's to do with stretching and fitness, stretching and exercise. Why should we stretch? How much should we stretch? A lot of us don't stretch enough, and this is just going to run through some of the benefits of stretching, why we should stretch, and I'm going to go through a few little bits of kit that we can use to assist us with stretching, and also I'm going to go through 10 stretches you can do at home. Okay, so stretching, what is it and why do we do it? Okay, there's two types of stretching. We stretch before we exercise whilst we're warming up. So we've got our dynamic stretches, which is what we should be doing there. So they're the ones that involve the big movements, like our lunges, like our squats and things like that. And then we've got some more sort of static stretches. So there are sort of deeper stretches that we can do once we're fully warm. So what we should do at the end of a workout, what we could do at home. Now, we can do them at home after we've worked out. So if we've been out for our run, we all say we stretch. We stand around with, you know, whoever we've been running with. We lean against the lamppost, we pick our leg up behind us and we stand there having a natter. And we all say we've got home and we've stretched. It's not really stretching, is it? It's you feel like you're just stretching out the tops of your legs a little bit or stuff like that. Is it enough? No, not really. So what I would suggest is, like, when we get home, we've had a shower, we've had a bath, soaked our muscles, the muscles are nice and warm still, we've got out the bath, we can then continue our stretching. We can do some more stretching at home. Yes, Haribo's keen to get on with the actual stretching here. But firstly, all I'm just going to say is some of the reasons why we should stretch. Okay, we stretch because it can decrease muscle stiffness. Okay, so we've all heard of DOMS, haven't we? You know, the muscle soreness that we get, Haribo. With muscle soreness, we get 24 hours, 48 hours, and sometimes even longer after exercise. And generally, it's because we haven't stretched enough. It can reduce risk of injury. If we don't stretch enough, we get tight muscles, which can then go ping. It can affect other things. It can affect our joints. So we need to stretch to reduce our risk of injury. As I said, it can release those post-ache stresses and post-aches and aches and pains. It's also good for our posture. You're sort of thinking, how can stretching my legs be good for my posture? Okay, so we're going to get things like tight hamstrings, tight hip flexors. Okay, all those sorts of things can pull our bodies in different ways. Okay, so it's going to be good for our posture, and a good same sort of thing as well. And it's good for our muscle tension. We can reduce muscle tension. When we stretch, it promotes circulation. So we get muscles going to our blood going to our muscles. These are all my words now. Blood will circulate around to our muscles. Okay, so it's good for the circulation. So now we're just going to move on to a couple of bits of kit that you can use before we do our stretches. I've hidden these to one side because if I had this out earlier, you'd all be making funny comments. Okay, so we've got various bits of kits here that we're going to use to assist us. The first is the foam roller. I'm sure most of you have seen these. You can pick them up online, Sports Direct, most sports shops, different shapes, different sizes. Very good for, like, sort of sitting on, rolling out your muscles. They're quite painful to use, but it's a good pain. It's good for our muscles and good for the blood supply, circulation and stuff like that. This one, I've just started using one of these recently. It is like a foam roller rolling pin. Okay, I find it really, really good for, like, working on the quads. If you want to do it yourself, it's a little bit easier than balancing and pushing yourself backwards and forwards on a foam roller. You can also do it down the sides of the quads, down over near the IT bands. If you've got somebody at home that can help you, you can lay on your front and they can do your calves for you. Very, very, very interesting. This one, it's a foam rolling ball. I'll hold it a little bit closer so you can see it. It's a ball, lots of little bobbles on them. Again, you get them with different sized bobbles. Some are harder, some are bigger, spikier. You can use these on the bottoms of your feet, okay, for one use, rolling out the bottoms of your feet. Also very, very good for getting in deep into the glutes. You can sort of lay it down on the floor, you can sit back on it over your glute and you can roll out and you get right in there onto the hip flexors. it really, really deep, penetrating. It's quite painful to use. But again, I say painful, stretching, that pain you get when you stretch, it's a good thing to a degree. It shows that you are stretching. But again, we need to be thoroughly warm when we're doing these types of stretches. And again, resistance bands. We can use, I got rid of her, she doesn't like that. Resistance bands, I'm going to show you a stretch that we can use using the resistance bands. But again, another good bit of kit that can help us stretch. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly whiz through 10 stretches you can do at home. So once you're thoroughly warm, you can either come in from your run. If you've run round at home, you can come in and do these stretches straight away. Or, like I said, if you've returned, like you've driven home or something like that, and you want to have a shower, have a bath, soak the muscles when they're still quite warm, you can get out and do these basic stretches. They're all basic stretches, but we can do them at home in front of the telly. Spend a bit of time, look after your legs, look after the body parts, stretch them out, and it will hopefully prevent injuries and keep you training for longer. Okay, she's back ready for our stretches. The first one we're going to do is just seated stretch, where we're going to tuck one leg in. Okay, we can reach down to the toes. If you can't reach down to the toes, just run your legs down through the leg, down through the calf. Okay, and you're going to pull yourself down. I do actually want you to try, these are deeper stretches, so I want you to pull yourself down to it, so it's chest down. When we, in all of our stretches, we're going to breathe. So we're going to breathe out, go down as far as we can, and we're going to hold that stretch. Hold that stretch sort of 10 to 15 seconds whilst you're down there. Okay, get down as low as you can. As I said, I'm not the most flexible person. I can't get like my head down to my leg and hold it there. I'm not that bendy. I never have been, but I do understand that it's very important for us to stretch. Okay, so we're going to go down to that leg. We're going to hold those 10-15 seconds. We're going to use the stretch off, and then we'll do it again. And the second time, you're just going to try and go that a little bit further. You can usually go down a little bit further second time we stretch. We're going to go down, nice deep stretch, and then we'd release it off. And we have to do this both sides. You'd swap over. So again, you tuck that foot right in tight, either down to the toes or down to the heel, going down to the leg, down to the heel, and we'd stretch down and breathe out. Okay, so that's stretch number one. Stretch number two, we're still seated. We're going to be seated, and we're going to have legs apart as wide as you can. Move your paw a minute. Okay, legs flat on the floor. Important we keep the legs flat on the floor. There's no point just thinking I need to get my legs as far apart if your legs are up like this, okay? So if you're only this far apart, or whether you're this far apart, or whether you're further apart, the legs need to be flat. Toes pointing up, and we're going to stretch out to the middle, okay? Again, we're going to take the hands out as far as we can. Breathe out as low as we can. If you can get there, then you can drop your elbows to the floor, okay? I can't. I'm not that warm either. But the warmer you are, the better. Again, we're going to stretch right down, keeping those legs down, and stretch. Feel the stretch on the inside of the legs there, the backs of our legs. Okay, so that's number two, nice and easy. Okay, number three, we're just going to stay in the same position. We're just going to bring our feet in. Okay, feet together, hands on the ankles, elbows to the insides of the knees. And then from there, we're just going to push our knees down nice and gently, and we're sitting up nice and straight. Okay, we're just going to sit down, stretch the inside of the groin. And again, all these stretches, we're just going to hold 10 to 15 seconds. Relax it off, just bring the knees together, back down, and stretch again. Okay, so that's number three. Number four, we're going to lay onto our backs. Okay, from here, we're going to bring one leg up, like so, you can see. Okay, we're going to stretch out down through the backs of the glutes. We're going to lay back, relax, hold on to the shin just below the knee, and we're going to squeeze that up to our, bringing it up to our chests. Okay, so the legs are relaxed, the other leg's flat on the floor, and squeeze and bring it up. Again, 10 to 15 seconds, breathing throughout the stretch, and then we'll just swap legs and do the other side. Okay, these can be done multiple times. You can do it, swap legs, and then go back and do it again. I'm just whizzing through the stretches to show you. I want you to spend a bit of time when you do these stretches, see which ones work for you. Again, because everybody's different. So some of these stretches you may not feel, they may not benefit you. So if I give you 10, hopefully you can get 4 or 5 of these stretches that you'll find will hit your troublesome areas, and you think, oh yeah, that one really works for me. That one doesn't, I won't bother trying that one. But again, everyone's different. Okay, so number 5 is back in our seated position. Like when we had the legs apart, set the legs are together, okay? This one's quite a deep, hard stretch to do. We want to sit up nice and straight, legs flat on the floor, and down the legs. Holding on to the toes if we can, or the ankles. Again, pulling ourselves down. Really feel this one up through the backs of the legs. Okay, just there, 10 to 15 seconds, relax it off, and then we'll go again. Okay, number 6 on my list is a squat stretch. Okay, so we were just thinking of squats. We just do our squat exercises. Squat right down, bum down to the ground. Okay, and then we're going to put our elbows to the insides of our knees. We're going to push our knees apart. Okay, and just sit down in this squat. Okay, just sit there, push apart, about. Again, 10-15 seconds, relax it off, come back to the middle, and then push apart again. Okay, the next one, I've done these at class, sometimes when we've been out running. So deep lunge onto your knee, arrow. Got a dog that wants to get involved every time I do something like this. Okay, I'm just going to move the camera slightly so you can see me. Okay, so we're in that deep lunge position, hand to the inside of the leg, and then from there we're going to drop the elbow down. Okay, so you're rocking forwards on the hips, pushing the hips forwards, elbow down to the inside of the knee, really feel the stretch, see if you can get that elbow onto the ground. Okay, 10-15 seconds, swap legs, big deep lunge position, so you see it from the other side now, dropping it down, elbow down to the inside, 10-15 seconds, and relax. Okay, number 8, we're going to use the resistance band. It's a laying resistance band stretch. So we're going to lay flat on our backs. Okay, you get different thicknesses of these, different tensions. Okay, we're just literally going to lay on our backs. I'm going to put it underneath one of my feet. Okay, and then I'm going to put the leg back up straight, lay back with it, and I'm simply going to raise my leg up as high as I can whilst keeping it straight. This is where you can see how inflexible I am, because that is about as far as I can go. Okay, but you should really feel this down through the backs of your legs. Okay, keeping the leg straight. If your leg starts to bend and you get your leg up straight further, that's no good. Okay, we want the leg nice and straight. You see the angle of my toes as well. I'm not pushing my toes away. Just bring it up as high as you can. Hold it 10-15 seconds. Swap over. And we'll do the other side. Okay, these sort of resistance bands are only a couple of pounds maximum. You get them in different lengths. You can double it over for extra tension, or have it singly to make it a little bit less resistant. Okay, that doesn't really give me quite as much pull as what it does when it's doubled over. Okay, number 9. I like this stretch. Okay, this one for me works really, really well in stretching up through the back here, at the top of my glutes and up into my back. Okay, I'm going to lay on my back and put my arms out, and then all I'm going to do is hold on to my other leg, and I'm going to turn it over, okay, whilst trying to keep my other shoulder on the ground. And what I want to try and do is get that knee to the ground. Okay, and you should just feel the stretch, and you're just going to hold it there. Okay, you may not see that well from that side, but I'll do it on the other side. So come up, I'd swap over, hold on to that one, okay, and I'm pulling it across. And just put my hand on top, and I'm just trying to get that knee down to the ground. Okay, but my other shoulder is still on the ground with my arm out straight. Okay, so my upper back is staying on the ground, really twisting out the lower part of the body. And last one, as we're still on the ground, these are quite sort of relaxed stretches, like I said, at home. We're just going to do our quads. Okay, so these are like what you do it when you're standing there on the lamppost chatting with your friend after you've run, and you class it as a stretch, but we're going to do them laying down. Okay, so knees together, just holding on to the back of my foot here. Okay, and then I'm going to pull my foot up to my bum, and from there I'm just going to push my hips forwards and really feel the stretch in my quads. Okay, again, 10-15 seconds, roll yourself over and do the other side. Okay, just here. Make sure those knees stay together and relax. Okay, so a little bit longer than the 5 minutes that I originally said, okay? But I've breezed through it. Important points of stretching, the benefits of stretching, why we should do it. Okay, so we should be spending just once, you know, if you just did it once a week, spend a good sort of 20 minutes, half an hour in front of the telly, just stretching in the evening. We've covered a few of the little assistance tools, things that we can use. Okay, so we've got all of these. None of them are majorly expensive, but they're all very, very beneficial in stretching. And then I've given you 10 stretches, extra stretches you can do at home. Okay, I hope you found the video useful. And the dog getting in the way was a great help. And stretch.